The world felt a little gray before they met. Days were just days. Nights were just nights. One person walked through life seeing things in plain colors. The other felt the same, like a song was playing but the volume was too low to really hear the tune. Then, one sunny afternoon, in a place filled with the smell of old books and quiet whispers, their eyes met. It wasn't like a movie. No sparks flew, not right away. It was simpler. A small smile from one, a shy look from the other. They were both reaching for the same book, a book about stars. He let her take it. "You can have it," he said, his voice soft. She looked up, surprised. "Oh, thank you. Are you sure?" "Yes," he replied. "I can always look for it another time." They talked for a little while that day, not about anything very important, just about books and the quiet place they were in, and how nice it was to find someone else who liked the same things. When they said goodbye, the world still looked the same, but something small, something tiny, had shifted inside both of them. It was like a single drop of color had fallen into a glass of clear water. They started seeing each other more often. Sometimes in the book place, sometimes in a small park where old trees gave shade. They would walk and talk. He learned that she loved the way the wind felt on her face. She learned that he noticed the smallest things, like the way a leaf danced as it fell from a tree. Their talks were easy. They didn't need big words. They spoke of simple dreams, of happy memories from when they were small, and of the little worries that sometimes filled their minds. He found her laugh to be the prettiest sound. She found his quiet comfort to be the safest feeling. One evening, they were sitting by a calm lake. The sun was going down, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" she said, her voice barely a whisper. He wasn't looking at the sky. He was looking at the way the light touched her hair. "Yes," he said, "it is." In that moment, the feeling between them was clear, like the water in the lake. It wasn't just friendship anymore. It was something more, something warm and gentle, like a soft blanket on a cold night. He reached for her hand. His was a little shaky. Hers was too. Their fingers touched, then held. It felt right. It felt like coming home. They didn't say, "I love you" with words that night. They said it with the way they looked at each other, with the way their hands fit together, with a quiet peace that settled around them. Their days became brighter. The gray was gone. Now, there were colors everywhere. The song they couldn't quite hear before was now clear and beautiful. They shared meals, simple and warm. They watched movies, sometimes funny, sometimes sad, but always better because they were together. He would leave little notes for her to find, simple word that made her smile. She would bake him his favorite cookies, the ones with extra chocolate chips. Life felt full, not full of big, exciting things all the time, but full of small, precious moments. A shared glance across a room, a comfortable silence, the way he would gently brush a stray strand of hair from her face, the way she would lean her head on his shoulder when she was tired. These were the bricks that built their love, strong and steady. They learned each other's rhythms. He knew she liked her tea with a little honey. She knew he always read the last page of book first. They knew each other's fears and helped each other be brave. They knew each other's joys and celebrated them, big or small. Their love was a garden they tended together, watering it with kindness and letting the sunshine of their affection help it grow. Then, one day, news came. News that meant change. He had a chance to follow a dream he had held for a long time, a chance to learn and grow in a place far away. It was a good thing, a wonderful chance. But it meant they would be apart. The news settled like a heavy stone in both their hearts. They talked about it, of course. They held each other close. "You have to go," she said, her voice thick with unshed tears. "It's what you've always wanted." "But what about us?" he asked, his own heart aching. "We'll make it work," she said, trying to be strong for both of them. "We have to." The days leading up to his leaving were filled with a strange mix of love and sadness. Every moment felt more precious, every touch more meaningful. They tried to be brave. They tried to smile. But sometimes the sadness would spill over, and they would just hold each other, letting the tears fall. The day he left was the hardest. The airport was busy, full of people coming and going. But for them, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. They held hands tightly, not wanting to let go. "I'll call you every day," he promised. "And I'll write," she said, her voice trembling. Then it was time. One last hug, a hug that tried to say everything words couldn't. One last kiss, a kiss that tasted of love and sorrow. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too," she whispered back. And then he was gone, walking away, turning back once to look at her, his eyes full of a sadness that mirrored her own. She watched until she couldn't see him anymore. The colors in her world seemed to dim a little that day. The music faded. The first few weeks were tough. The space beside her in bed felt too big. The quiet in her home felt too loud. His smell lingered on his pillow, and she would hold it close, trying to feel him near. Every little thing reminded her of him. The book they were reading together, now sitting unfinished. The mug he used for his morning coffee. The songs they used to sing along to in the car. He called, just like he promised. His voice was a lifeline across the miles. They would talk for hours, sharing their days, trying to bridge the distance with words. But it wasn't the same. She missed his smile, the warmth of his hand in hers, the way he looked at her. "I miss you," she would say, the words catching in her throat. "I miss you more," he would reply, his voice heavy with longing. She wrote letters, pouring her heart onto paper. She told him about her day, about the funny thing the cat did, about the new flower that bloomed in her small window box. She drew little pictures in the margins, pictures of things that reminded her of him. Sending the letters felt like sending a piece of her heart across the ocean. He sent letters too, and little gifts from the new place he was in. A pressed leaf from a tree he thought was beautiful. A small, smooth stone from a beach he had walked on. Each one was a treasure, a sign that he was thinking of her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The ache of missing him didn't go away, but it changed. It became a part of her, a constant companion. Sometimes it was a sharp pain, like when she saw a couple holding hands, or heard a song that was their song. Other times, it was a dull throb, a quiet sadness that sat in the background of her days. She kept busy. She worked, she saw friends, she read books. But there was always a part of her that was waiting for his call, waiting for his letter, waiting for the day they would see each other again. He was struggling too. The new place was exciting, but it was also lonely without her. He missed her laugh, her gentle touch, the way she understood him without him needing to say a word. He would look at the stars at night, the same stars they had read about in that book so long ago, and wonder if she was looking at them too. "I miss you," he'd whisper to the empty room, the words echoing the ones she spoke so many miles away. They learned to live with the distance, but they never got used to it. Their love was a strong thread connecting them, a thread that stretched and strained but never broke. They filled their conversations with hope, with plans for the future, for the day when the miles between them would disappear. She would often walk by the lake where they had first held hands. She would sit on the same bench, close her eyes, and try to remember the feeling of his hand in hers, the warmth of his presence beside her. The memory was sweet, but it also made the missing worse. One evening, as she sat there, watching the sunset paint the sky, just like it had that one special night, her phone rang. It was him. "Hi," he said, his voice sounding a little different, a little closer somehow. "Hi," she replied, a smile touching her lips at the sound of his voice. "How was your day?" "It was interesting," he said. There was a pause. "Can you do something for me?" "Anything," she said. "Turn around." Her heart skipped a beat. Slowly, she turned. And there he was, standing a few feet away, a hesitant smile on his face, his eyes full of love. He was real. He was there. For a moment, she couldn't move, couldn't speak. Then the tears came, tears of joy, of relief, of overwhelming love. She ran to him, and he opened his arms, catching her in a hug that felt like it could mend all the broken pieces of the past months. "You're here," she cried into his shoulder. "You're really here." "I'm here," he said, holding her tight, burying his face in her hair. "I couldn't stay away any longer. I miss you too much." They stood there for a long time, just holding each other, the setting sun casting a warm glow around them. The world, which had seemed a little duller, a little quieter, suddenly burst back into vibrant color. The music was loud and clear again. The distance had been hard. The missing had been painful. But it had also shown them how strong their love was. It had shown them that their connection was not just about being in the same place, but about being in each other's hearts, no matter where they were. He was back. Not forever. Not yet. But for now, he was here. And for now, that was all that mattered. They walked away from the lake hand in hand, their steps in sync, their hearts full. The journey ahead might still have its challenges, but they knew they could face anything as long as they face it together. The words, "I miss you," had been a constant refrain for so long. Now, whispered between them, they held a different meaning. Not of sorrow, but of a love that had endured, a love that had found its way back home. And in the quiet moments, when they just looked at each other, no words were needed at all. Their eyes said everything. Their hearts understood. The feeling of missing was replaced, for now, by the wonderful, simple feeling of being together. And that was the most beautiful feeling in the world.